Like, I'd love to hear more about how, like, you have been impacted by these moments, these cycles that Erin's went through, both pre-marriage, marriage. Like, I'd love to hear from your perspective on that.
I think, well, one thing for me, even just understanding like pre-marriage, like, oh, okay, like I want him to be able to get whole and pursue wholeness and like not using porn, but unrealistic that it's going to just magically stop. I think a lot of women think that when sex is on the table and fair game, if their spouse struggles with porn, it won't stop. True. So it's this weird tension of like not being hopeless, but then also being realistic of like, almost like it felt like I would get my hope, bigger rejection. Like we'll meet with couples who are like, I thought it would stop, and now 6 months into marriage, it hasn't. What does that mean about me? So I think that's where I did the like,
I'm not enough.
Yeah, I'm not enough. Do I not know any, like, I don't know, tricks? Pretty enough? Does my body? It actually can spiral your partner into like the shame of what does it mean about me if what we have isn't enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like it's a narrative on you.
Yeah. And then two, like if so betrayed and not understanding, like it was just so, every time he confessed, I would be sad and cry. It was this weird tension of like not wanting to, I don't know, how do you think I...
Well, she didn't want to make me feel worse than I had already felt, because actually...
But I didn't want to protect him either. Yeah. That weird tension of like, not like, hey, so I think now, if he does occasionally...
Like, I want to leave you in jail overnight.
Yeah, no, totally. I don't want to rescue from this.
So this idea of like, oh, I'm not going to hide him. I think I used to try to maybe shut down my emotions because he felt so much shame that I didn't want to add to it. But I was like, that's unfair. Like I get to have my emotions, but I'm also not going to, I don't know, punish?
That's literally what you've said to me before. Like, hey, this is all the stuff that I feel. I have no desire to punish you with this. I know it might feel it. Yeah, it's probably going to feel like punishment. And so...
Well, I mean, for me, it hurts so bad. Too.
Yes,
so like, I'm going to tell you how bad it hurts, but I'm also not trying to punish you as well. But for me, even like getting out of the shame of talking about it, I heard a stat once that like 7 in 10 men in the church struggle. So the idea, like, that was like, oh, I think this is like a tactic from the enemy to like have us not talk about it when the stats say that probably 7 of my friends' husbands are struggling with the same thing. Like, none of us are talking about it because we're trying to cover our husband. But then actually like I feel isolated and we're getting, the attack is like heightened versus actually being vulnerable with a friend. So we had people that I would actually like, hey, I need people I can process with this. Who's on your list that you feel safe with that I'm not hiding? Because then it enables the hiding cycle too.
Yeah, and if my answer had been nobody, don't tell anybody, that's the wrong answer,
that's
because
a red flag.
One of the primary causes of porn is isolation and the loneliness you feel within that, and the need to feel the comfort when you feel really isolated. And so trying to, if you want freedom, you want your wife to tell as many people that she can feel known by. So as many people as that's possible. Like, not just for me, there was a couple people I'm like, oh, I know they love both of us and they're not going to commiserate with her and like, wow, he's so horrible. But they are going to feel the pain with her, and they are going to bring her to a place where she feels known. And so that, and I need that. I need her to feel known by other people.
And the interesting part, I feel like most of the time Erin would like want like, hey, like this is what I'm doing. This is my action steps on some level of like not getting here again. But then there were some times that he felt so much shame. It was almost like he was like crippled by passivity,
hopelessness,
which
and passivity,
I see some husbands that are like the wife's like, he just doesn't even know where to start. So the idea of like, oh, okay, I see that. I will need you to make a plan. I'm not going to feel safe if you're just letting passivity tell you what to do.
Totally.
So it's not like a punishing, but like there needs to be some action steps. Like, let me know. And then two, I think sometimes I would err on the side of trying to control, like what you can do to make me feel safe. But then the external controls are never, it's like, you know, when you get out of school, if the rules aren't there, you're not like, it's not internal. So him being like, hey, let me know. I'll need something. Can you tell me today? If you don't know right now, could you circle back and think of some stuff by tomorrow evening? Can we talk about it?